Beautiful souls, welcome back. So we are still working towards pigeon pose. It's one of my favourite poses. It is a Marmite pose, definitely, and most people hate it because they find it such a struggle. So we're going to continue working on our hip mobility and flexibility, because yoga isn't just about, the physical poses of yoga aren't just about stretching. We want to increase, or at least maintain a good range of motion and also strength as well as flexibility. Because if you just focus on flexibility, it's like stretching an elastic band. Sooner or later, it either gets really kind of like, loses its elasticity, or it will literally break. So we've got Miss Lulu here with us. So we're going to start in a child's pose. Have a block or a cushion or a folded up towel handy, and just open the knees a little bit, sitting on your heels. Bring your forehead down to the floor. Rest your arms down beside you and just relax down into the mat. Taking a few deep breaths here. Breathing in and out through your nose, and just check in. Take a moment to check in, noticing how you're feeling right now, how you're feeling emotionally, how you're feeling energetically, how you're feeling physically, and also how you're feeling around your hips and pelvis. So noticing how you feel now, so we can compare it again at the end. And keep in mind that yoga is about more than just flexibility in the body. It's about flexibility in our mind as well. The willingness to try, the willingness to do things that are maybe challenging because they're uncomfortable. I see so many students that they drop into certain poses with ease. They like those poses because it boosts our egos. Well, I'm good at something. And the ones that we're not so good at, we don't like, because our ego's like, you're no good at it, I don't like this. So be flexible in your ability to have a very open and curious mind, so that we can work through the things. So quite often we end up really enjoying the poses we once hated because we had the courage to be flexible in our thinking. Take another nice deep breath in. Let it go, sigh it out. Then starting to curl yourself back up to sitting. Open your knees out as wide as you can. Now, if you have trouble kneeling, you can put cushions or something underneath or behind your knees, so there's less of a stretch, but it's good for stretching out the hips and thighs. And we're going to start off just to move the spine a little bit. So just move the spine around in a kind of circular movement to free it up a little bit. Move in whatever way feels good for you. So it might be a side to side movement, might be circling the other way. Again, no rights or wrongs. It's about what feels good for you. So if your body was telling you how it wants to move today, how would that be? So often we go like, I don't know if I'm doing it right. I'm not doing it the same as them, and blah, 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 blah. It's our ego, that little inner critic that gets in and starts going, you're not doing it right. No. So again, part of yoga is learning that we are not that voice, and we don't have to listen to that voice. Now we're just going to warm up the hands a little bit. So bring the hands to the floor in front of you, and pressing into those hands and doing some spine flexes here. So inhale, draw the heart forward. Exhale, round. Breathing in and out. So movement is from your tailbone to the base of the skull. Keep going. So shaking for a different direction. So your head is in a kind of neutral position. So as you inhale, imagine sticking the bottom out, drawing your heart forward. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone under, rounding through the upper back, as if you're pointing your tailbone at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. You can keep pressing your hands into the floor. 3, it's a great one for warming up in the morning. 1, and come back, turn your hands inwards, so the fingers are pointing inwards, and maybe just pressing a little bit side to side, stretching out the wrists. You're going to try and press into the whole hand, as if you're trying to make a perfect imprint of the hand into the mat. Then turn the hands so they're pointing outwards, away from each other. Again, if it feels okay to do so, shift the weight a little bit side to side. Then bring the backs of the hands to the mat. Again, try and press into the whole hand, as if you're trying to make a perfect hand print in the mat, against the mat. Then bring them back, bring the knees in, turn your hands, palms out. Inhale, make a fist with a thumb outside, spread the fingers out, then make a fist with a thumb inside, spread them out. And try and do it for a few seconds, trying to do it as fast as you can. Thumb in, thumb out. Feel those hands working. It's a great energizing exercise as well. Get some energy moving in your body. Shake out the hands. So we can do some stability and mobility strengthening work. So you're going to come onto your hands and knees, hands under shoulders, maybe squeeze the fingers together, relax the shoulders, bring the knees slightly closer, so they're under the hips but not hip width apart, slightly closer. Just a couple of little cat stretches. So inhale, tailbone lifts, heart forward, stretch the front of the body. Exhale, tuck tailbone under, draw chin to chest, stretch the back of the body. Inhale, flex, hugging the arms, upper arms in towards you. Exhale, arching up. Then find a neutral, flat back position. Relax your shoulders. Again, press into the whole of the hand, all 10 fingertips, and the heels of the hands. Draw your belly button in. Keep the arms straight but not locked. And we're going to just do the right leg to start. You're going to draw your belly button in, pull the pelvic floor muscles in, and you can lift the right leg out to the side as high as you can without bending the other arm. Hold it for a few seconds. Inhale, lower it down. So exhale, lift like a fire hydrant, like a doggy at a lamp post. Hold it for a few seconds. And lower. So strengthening the muscles around your hips. And kind of keep the rest of the body nice and still. We're going to add an extension. So you're going to take the knee out to the side. Keep the knee here, the leg here. Extend the leg out to the side, not behind you. Bend. Bring it back in. Again, lift. Extend. Kick the leg out to the side. Yes, it is tough. Bend. And bring it back in. We've only got one more of these. Inhale, lift, extend, bend, and bring it in. This time, inhale, lift that leg up behind you, squeeze your butt, and exhale, bring it around as if you're trying to bring the knee to the elbow and the foot to the outside of the hand. Then lifting it back. Nice and slowly, so you're working those muscles back to that kind of like donkey kick position. Breathe in as you breathe out. Again, slowly bring the knee as if you're bringing it towards the elbow. Touch the elbow if you can. Bring that foot around it. It's quite tough. Have a little stretch here. And then inhaling as you take it back. Last time, exhale. Bring it. Touch the elbow, bring that foot. This time we're going to stay here. So come off your hands, come onto your fingertips. Adjust that back foot. Make sure this knees in line with the ankle, and then see if you can come down as if you're bringing the elbows to the floor. Don't worry if you can't quite bring the elbows to the floor. Come onto the side edges of your hands to give your hands a bit of a rest, and imagine you're hugging this knee in towards either your shoulder or your ribs. Relax the back of the neck. You can let the head hang. Maybe just gently shake the head a little bit, side to side. If you can reach, if it feels okay, you can clasp the hands and come down onto your elbows. And whatever works for you, or you can bring the hands to the floor and say, we're going to try and give the hands a bit of a rest. So if you do need to rest them, then adjust them. Either clasp the hands or have the hands upwards. Maybe, again, whatever comes to you. There's no rights or wrongs. So trust those little intuitive nudges. So breathe into the hips. Nice deep breaths. And come back up. Walk the hands back in. We're going to take this knee back, lifting it back up to our little donkey kick. Then we're going to bring it through to a pigeon pose. So you're going to bring this right knee towards the right hand. You're going to take your block, which if you're organised, you'll have it down beside you. You're going to have it so it's under that hip, and you're going to slide your left leg back. Now you might need more than one block, that's okay. Try and make sure the right knee is out, not across in front of you. So what sometimes people tend to do is they kind of take it across. You want it out towards that right hand. As long as this foot is in a little bit, then you can pop the block there and then rest. So you don't have to have the leg out here, not just yet. If you're not there yet, that's okay. Because what I want more is to lose the gap between this hip and heel. So slide the knee, use more blocks if needed, and then just gently rock a little bit side to side. Energize that back leg, so really stretch through the back leg, lift that thigh. So just because you can't see that leg, don't forget about it. Engage the thigh muscle. Use your hands. You might want to walk around a little bit to the side to feel a stretch. Oh, that feels quite good actually. Almost like a little twist. So again, think of bringing some movement in rather than just trying to hold it. Because sometimes when we're trying to push too much, or try too hard, I should say, we end up bringing tension in. And maybe walking around the other way a little bit. And do whatever feels right for you. So don't worry if your variation looks slightly different to mine. I'm going to find a point where you're getting a good stretch and it doesn't feel like you're going to damage your knees. Relax the shoulders. So it's almost like a back, well, it is a back bend actually, because it's stretching the front of the body. And after your next exhale, release, move that block out of the way and come back into your cat position. Now you're going to tuck the toes under. You're going to bring your block with you. You're going to lift onto the balls of the feet. You're going to take the block behind you and you're going to bring a heel to each corner of the block. Now if that's too narrow, get 2 blocks, take them out wider so you've got one on each heel, and come into Malasana to come off our wrists for a bit, but stretching out the inner thighs. So if you need to have the hands to the floor, that's okay. You're going to inhale, drop the knees in a little bit, let them relax a little bit. Exhale, press them out, engaging the inner thighs. So we're trying to aim for a nice tall spine so we're not kind of rounded and collapsed. So inhale, let them drop in a little bit. Exhale, press them out, using your inner thighs, not your arms. So inhale, relax a little bit. Exhale, press it out, tailbone tucked under. Breathing in and out. In and out. Or not get really engage those legs. Too often in yoga poses, yoga asana, we tend to kind of just rely on gravity, or we rely on stretching and not enough on the strength. And especially in this kind of pose, you really need to, too often people let the knees drop in, not engaging their legs. So you want to press the knees out. So it does make it harder. Of course it does, but you're using muscles, so you're not going to end up injuring yourself. And take another breath here. Press those knees out with your elbows. There, release, coming back on to your hands and knees. Have your block ready for the other side. So come back. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, but slightly narrower. Just another little cat stretch here. Inhale, lift the tailbone. Roll the shoulders back. Draw your heart forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under. Lift up through the back of the heart. Almost hugging your ears with your biceps, bringing your chin to your chest. And find that neutral, flat back position. Relax the shoulders, you're not tensing the upper back. Draw your belly button in and pulling your hips towards each other to engage your oblique muscles. Keeping the arms straight but not locked. Lift that left leg. So the tendency is to kind of bend the elbow. So keep both arms straight but without tensing. And inhale, lower. Exhaling, lift, hold it for a second. And inhale down. So you're working both sides here. You're working the leg that's on the floor as well. And your core muscles. Once you know what you're doing, try and keep your head in line with the spine. So you end up looking down. Then adding that leg extension. This time, inhale, lift. Keep the knee here. Exhale, extend that leg out to the side. Inhale, bend. And exhale, open. You've got 3 of those because they're quite tough. Inhale, lift. Exhale, extend. Inhale, bend. And exhale, lower down. Keep the abs braced. One more. Again, press into both hands. Both arms stay straight, but not locked. This time, lift that leg up into like a little donkey kick. Breathe in as you breathe out. Bring that knee around. Touch it to your elbow. Then try and slowly bring that foot. So you really feel those leg muscles working. Enjoy a little stretch. And then inhaling slowly. Take it back. So we want to go slow so we're not just throwing the leg around. So exhaling, touch your elbow, then bring your foot. So you can really feel those muscles working. And take it back. So we're going to do a few of them so that if you're doing it properly, you only need a few. One more. Knee to elbow. Foot outside. This time stay here, so adjust. Come off your hands for a second. Make sure this front knee is over the ankle. And then either come down onto your elbows with the palms facing each other. That also helps to relax your upper back. And let the head relax. Or if you want to clasp your hands, that's okay. Hug that knee in towards your shoulder. Yeah, relax your head. Notice how it feels on this side. So it might feel different on this side than the other side. That's quite typical. Breathe into that hip joint. And after your next exhale, make your way back up. Hands under shoulders. And take that leg back again. And this time, bring that knee, take it to the outside of your left hand. So the foot is coming across. So left knee towards left hand. Grab your block under your left hip. Then slide the right leg back. So you're bringing that hip closer to the heel. And again, you can just rock a little bit side to side. We're trying to relax the hips and pelvis. Otherwise, what tends to happen is we're holding tension here. So you want to try and relax that hip whilst energizing that back leg. So don't just let that leg be floppy. Stretch through that leg. Wrap your thigh muscles around your thigh bones. And keep the shoulders relaxed. Breathe into the front of the hips. There should be no strain whatsoever on that knee. And you can walk around a little bit, make a little twist. Feel your way. So feel what feels good for you, because no two bodies are the same. So, we're not going to enjoy the same things. What feels good for me may not feel good for you, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay. And what feels good on one side may not necessarily feel good on the other side. Coming back, lengthening up through the crown of the head. Again, feel that stretch in the front of the body, shoulders relaxed, dropping that hip down towards that heel, lengthening through that back foot. So if you're pressing the top of that back foot into the floor. And after your next exhale, release your block. Bring that back. Bring your block with you. Come back onto your toes. Back up into Malasana. Again, have a heel on each corner. Or say if you need to take the feet wider, have 2 blocks. Press the knees out. This time, bring your elbows to your knees. As you breathe in, press your knees out. As you breathe out, try and squeeze the knees in as you're pressing the elbows out. Press out, feel a stretch, even more of a stretch. Exhale, try and pull your knees in. Really use your effort. So pull your knees in as you're trying to bend the arms and press out. Again, really feel that increase in the stretch in your inner thighs. And maybe see if you can come down a little bit lower. Elbows outside your shins. Again, keep pressing the knees out. Maybe even seeing if you can take the hands to the floor, pressing the knees out. Again, stretching out the hips and inner thighs. Whatever works for you. And then gently releasing, undo the legs. Come down onto your back. Have the knees bent, feet flat, feet wider than hip width, toes turn in, arms down beside you. Just close your eyes. And just take your awareness inwards. So once more, checking in, noticing how you feel. Remember what I said last time about pigeon pose, or all hip openers actually, can release emotional tension. So it's not unusual for you to feel a bit emotional after practicing hip openers. So if you are feeling a little bit kind of like tearful or, kind of, I don't know what's wrong with me, just acknowledge that, just accept that. Without beating yourself up, without making yourself wrong. Because quite often when we label things or when we try and resist or ignore them, they kind of hang around for longer. Whereas if we just accept them, just let them be, know that they will pass, and that the saying, this too will pass, is a really simple yet really effective saying. It does help, whenever I'm going through struggle, especially if it's something similar to I've been through before, I try and remind myself, I've been here before and I've gotten through it. I've been in this state before, I've been in this, situation before, and I've got through it. So honor yourself for your strength, your courage. But know that wherever you are right now, is perfect. And before we finish, I want you to think to yourself, I am so happy and grateful right now because, and finish the sentence. Notice whatever comes to mind. Don't overthink it. There's no level of, oh, well, I should be more grateful for this or whatever. Just, I am so happy and grateful right now because, whatever comes to mind, whether it's one thing, whether it's lots of things, that's okay. Because so often what tends to happen, in my experience, is something will happen, we'll start feeling a little bit crappy, and then our thoughts get on a dark path, and we start to, our inner voice starts up going on about how rubbish we are and how we never get anything right and how awful our life is. And guess what? Life then turns around and says, oh, you want signs that your life is awful? I'll show them to you. And this is why they say things happen in threes. It's not so much that, it's just if something wrong happens, you then expect other things to happen, other bad things to happen. So by switching, nowadays when I find myself slipping into a low mood, I try and immediately focus on all the things I have to be grateful for. And then you start realizing that you do always have far more to be grateful for, even for the simplest things like access to reasonably fresh water, to electricity, to clean clothes, all those kind of things that we tend to take for granted, all of us. So acknowledging where you're at right now, feeling that sense of gratitude, and also for the sense of gratitude for yourself, for showing up on the mat. So when you feel ready, if you feel ready, start to stretch out your arms and legs, just moving in whatever way feels good for you. In your own way, in your own time, bringing yourself back up to sitting. I'm going to do 2 Brahmari hummingbee breaths together. So just resting your hands, palms up, thumb and index finger together. So Brahmari hummingbee breath. You breathe in through the nose and you exhale just humming, feeling the vibration as it moves, as it flows through your body. So just close your eyes, sit up nice and tall, nice tall spine. Take a nice long slow breath in. And bring your hands together, bring your hands to your heart, heart to your hands, take a little bow to seal your practice. Namaste, so much love to you.